Good day and today, welcome to another stream, and today I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. Now, I have for a long time known that I don't talk enough. Well, today I'm gonna do a stream that's exclusively talking about stuff that I like. Specifically, manga. Now, as you can tell from the title, there seems to be manga that I'm going to be rambling on about, and that's that the three have a female main character who is big, giant even. We are talking about, well, you can see I've done a little illustration in the thumbnail, but I'm not the best artist, so if you can't tell, the three manga that I intend to go over today are Oni-sama and the Giant, Sachi's Monstrous Appetite, and Kaizogun Caramelize. Three, well, Monstrous Appetite and Caramelize have a fair bit in common, but honestly, I just want to talk about the manga because I like them. I don't really have anything to expect, like, you to go super in deep. I just like the manga, so that's what I'm going to be talking about. Just to, as a bit of preamble, I just like this sort of stuff. Like, I don't talk about it a lot, but I am of the general opinion that girl equals good, more girl equals more good, and thus characters like Sachi and Alice and Kamo, that usually manga go, but as well as characters like Mount Lady and the Super Dreadnought girl. I think they're cute. Which is why I guess I decided to start this series of ramblings on this particular topic. So, I guess I should start rambling. Let's start with Sachi's Monstrous Appetite. It's a nice manga. It's quite cute. Bit risque, bit ecchi. But it's not like explicit, but I just like the designs of the monsters. Like, they're really good and varied and cute. So, what is Sachi's Monstrous Appetite before I start? Rambling about character design. So Sachi's Monstrous Appetite. It's about this kid, Funatsugi Maki. He's in middle school last year, I think, and he's very close in love with Sachi, the titular Sachi. He's like a couple years older than him in high school, and like the first chapter opens with him just talking about opening a bento box, and when you receive a bento box from someone, you don't know what's inside, and that's kinda cute. And then it reveals that he thinks about his first bento box, and then cuts it, like, then he thinks, but I never got to eat his first bento box. Anyway, it goes back to him in the present day, and he's been seeing monsters forever. no one else can see him. You know, the, like, in, what's it called? The, that one ghost manga. Well, it's a classic trope in Japanese ghost stories that only certain people can see them, and if you make eye contact and acknowledge their existence, then they can interact back with you, usually by eating you, or dismembering you, or what have you. Anyway, he sees the monsters around and he does his best to ignore them. And he goes about his day until he's gone home, walking home to his factory, and they're just chatting, and it's cute. And then the monster reappears, and then Maki makes eye contact with it, and the monster goes berserk and charges at him, talks about gutting him, cutting him open, seeing how he tastes, you know. However you'd react when you see a really tasty meal. Wonder what's inside. And Maki's freaking out, and so is Sachi. She sees it, and she's like, there's that bitch. I've been looking for that monster all day. And so, she reveals that she is, well, more than revealing anything per se, she becomes cuter. Look at this. Look at this. Isn't this adorable? Look at it. Look at the teeth. Look at how she becomes magnitudes greater than her friend. Look how that monster who it's dwarfed the two of them just moments before fits so neatly in her mouth. God. Adorable. Wish that were me. So yeah. She reveals she's also a monster. There's a proper word for it. Honestly, I'm not great at remembering what these things tend to be called. But yeah, so yeah, that's the first chapter. Let me just check. Watari, that's what they call the shape-shifting monster in the series, Watari. Anyway, she reveals her form, it's adorable, it's great. So yeah, you can still see that she's still wearing a little bow even as a giant male monster thing. 10 out of 10 character design. But yeah, the series is part romance, part, and I'll go so far as to call it like a proper horror, but like the designs do get real funky. Like, obviously Sachi herself, look at all those teeth, look at how the flesh stretches with her mouth. Beautiful, I love it. Also, the way she transforms is also very, like her full male form is smooth, it's like soft. You can see it in the first part, it's like very cute. And obviously when she's eating stuff she gets like a bit more like that. But when she's mid-transformation, whenever it's depicted in the manga, it's always a lot more detailed, like the warping of the flesh and the skin, the wrinkles, and that sort of stuff. How her eyes warp. That's depicted a lot more when she's transforming rather than when she's transformed already. And so, yeah. very, not quite spooky, but not like a little disgusting in terms of imagery goes. I like it. And of course, she's only the first friendly Watari we meet. Obviously we meet a lot of unfriendly Watari, most of whom are eaten. There's also a funny monkey Watari who just hangs around the house. They're fun. But like, in terms of character design, or character concepts, there's a changeling. Well, the changeling's real funny. So basically, one of the characters who's sort of an antagonist, they become chill. They're a changeling. Now, she is, well, obviously, aside from just being cute, as a changeling, she can, well, the changeling can create, so, she's like, how do I say it? So the changeling itself is a creature that creates a copy of, well, not a copy, but creates a artificial person. So the changeling creates a person called Izumi, who has created memories, and other people have created memories of Izumi. Like, it's really weird. I like it. Like, Izumi, like, is basically a lure, like a anglerfish lure. It's something to attract, well, not necessarily to attract prey, but to, like, deflect attention away from the main changeling, whatever. So Izumi herself has memories of a mother who never existed, and of eating croquettes, and all that sort of stuff. And then, Maki, he also has memories of her, even though she never existed. Like, that Izumi isn't exactly a charming, like, she's not a charming though. Like, it's like, they sometimes communicate sort of, and like, they're different bodies, sort of. It's like almost a stand in that they're almost different, but not quite. And I like how weird it is. Like, and I like how validating the series of these constructed memories, like, is very, and just the general character design of Izumi is, I mean, she's cute, but the Watari, the charming, oh, those tentacles, oh, that cold featureless space, 10 out of 10, love it. And there's tons of stuff like that. A lot of peak character design. Oh, there's this one, I can't remember her name, like assistant maid sort of little girl who works with the manager, who manages the friendlings. They don't talk, but they have a hat with text on it, and whenever they want to communicate, the text on the hat changes, and I just think that's incredibly cute. And just pink character design, I love it. But yeah, it's just a very, it's like, slightly unnerving, kind of spooky and disgusting with the character designs and the concepts, but overall it's just a very cute series about a couple, one of whom, important details that I've neglected to mention, Maki smells delicious. Like, a lot of the conflict is around the fact that he smells absolutely tasty. Like, that's partly why Satri hangs around with him so much, beyond, being, relationships, obviously that. But even before that, she was just naturally drawn to him because she kind of wants a taste. And obviously a lot of the Watari in the series also want a taste, unfortunately for him. But yeah, in terms of characters, very much I wish I was him moment. Because, cute girlfriend who's older and can turn into a giant monster and wants to eat you. 10 out of 10, wish that were me. But no, it's just generally very cute, and like, the two, like, obviously there's this overall feeling of, how much Satri being not human doesn't fit in a lot of the ways, but in other ways she very much does, and her worries about not fitting in are very human of her, and like, the contrast of her, like, moments of her being incredibly like somber moments where she like knows that she can never truly be human. Like when, like, one time she almost eats him, and she just feels really guilty about it because she loves him, but also she almost bit him in half. That feels bad, and it's very sad. And another time later in, she is losing her ability to maintain human form, and she wants to stay with her friends and her family, her adopted family, and so she has to go and regain her power. And it's revealed that in order to do so, she must eat the corpse of her mother, her biological mother, which is hecked up as all hell. So she doesn't take it well, but so yeah, on one side it's about people who are inherently not human and thus are in some ways just inherently disconnected from the human society they so much want to be a part of. But at the same time, it says that just because they're disconnected, it doesn't mean that they're incompatible. Like, at the end, Izumi and Satri and the other friendlings, they all stay around. There's no, like, rug pull or anything. They just, by the end of the series, it's just, they're just hanging around, and they're still, there's a happily ever after. There's no need to be, like, in spite of their differences and how much they differ, at the end of the day, they're still a part of, they can still be a part of society and still have friends and make connections and be human-ish, if they try, and that's very nice. and I think that's nice. And on a similar vein, I think let's go over another monstrous manga, Kaizugun Caramelize, or Otome Kaizu Caramelize in Japanese. Kaiju, baby! Who doesn't love Kaiju? Who doesn't love it's Kaizugun Caramelize is very much a Kaiju manga. Yes, it's a Kaiju manga. It loves Kaiju, everything. It's just the majority of characters are a reference to a kaiju. Like obviously, the main character, look at her, Kuro, her name is. She is obviously a reference to Godzilla. There's a rich girl who. Kotaro, not Kotaro, Madachu, she is obviously very much a moth reference because she's always dressing up as a moth or butterfly. There's Riley, who is associated with gorillas, obviously being a reference to King Kong. It's very much loves Kaiju, but let's take a step back. What is Kaizugun Caramelize? Kaizugun Caramelize, or Otome Kaizugun Caramelize, it's an otome. It's, as much as it is very much a Kaiju manga, it is also a shoujo manga. I think that's proper. Which is to say, it's a love story, and it's a sweet love story. Whereas the previous was, a lot more ecchi, and you can tell just by the character designs. This one is less ecchi, more pretty, So it follows Kuro Akaishi. She turns into a giant kaiju sometimes, as depicted at the back. It is big monster. Sometimes when she's flustered, a little bit of her will transform, like claws, horns, wings, and a tail. If she gets real flustered or real emotional otherwise, bada bing bada boom, there's a kaiju in Tokyo. It's not Godzilla, it's legally distinct from Godzilla, but we're gonna run as if it were Godzilla. So, obviously she tends to keep to herself and is just generally gloomy and shy. So, she's in love now. No. She meets with Avatar Minami, a popular guy at her school. He's a model. Now, actually, isn't he a model at the start of the series? He's popular, and everyone knows it. All the girls in the school have their eyes on him, and some of the guys. So, they eventually start meeting up by accident, because they both kinda wanna be out of the sunlight, out of the spotlight. And even if Kuro takes long to warm up to Arati, they get close and she falls in love. But also she's a giant kaiju who, again, when flustered, turns into legally distinct from Godzilla. And so the manga follows the trials and tribulations of Kuro attempting to get close to Arata romantically. They are good friends. They quickly become friends, rather. And yeah, it's generally cute, and well, what do I like about it? Again, cute girl becomes cute kaiju. Look at all those horns. It doesn't show it in the image I've got, but the base of the wings, it was in between the wings, I believe. There's the part which is kind of, it's kind of like, kinda clunky, but also kinda cute. But yeah, it's a very cute, it's enjoyable, it's not like groundbreaking by any means, but it's just a very sweet romance. A lot of misunderstandings, which isn't my favourite. Like, I like it when my characters know what's happening and make good or bad decisions with the information they have. But, I mean, even so, it's just a very... I mean, the base conceit is about a girl hiding her identity as a giant kaiju, so... but... as I was saying earlier, before I talked about what actually happens, it's very much a love letter to classic kaiju, classic Godzilla, so many homages, particularly with, as I said before, Manchu Sharou, who, as I said, loves kaiju, particularly Kumo's kaiju form. Everything she does is a love letter to kaiju, but also stuff like her bodyguards, or well, look at them and you'll know what they're based off. She has tons of outfits, makes everyone else dress up in outfits inspired by kaiju. Very, very cute, and just a lot of stuff like that. It's just very cute. And even I just like the character dynamics. Like, obviously, Avatar, Minami, and Kumo, they're cute together. But like, how everyone else, like how her adopted mother, Minko Akaishi, just a very good mother, does her best. Kotaro, her uncle figure, they're great. He's great, he's fun, he has some fun moments, and just how Ryu, Manatsu rather, and I guess the rest of the class also, eventually, help Kurong come out of her shell. Sorry. Been talking a lot. So, it's just very sweet, very cute, very wholesome. The latest few volumes have had, well, the latest volume has had a bit more drama with the sibling and all that, but like, it's just generally cute, and I don't really have much more to say about it. I've said my piece. It's a cute shoujo about a girl who turns into a kaiju. If that appeals to you, I recommend it. like both Factory and Caramelize have official English translations. You should read them. That's it. The third manga I'm going to be talking about, and the final one, is known as One-san and the Giant, or in Japanese, One-sama to Watashi, Ozo-sama ga Isekai Tensei. And it's my favourite of the three, by far. I just keep coming back to One-sama and the Giant. It's pink fantasy. Now the previous two were about the romances about a cute girl who turns into a giant monster. This one is just about a giant and her sister. There's no transformation yet. And this one is a lot more complex. There's like, not to say Factory isn't uncomplex, but One-sama and the Giant is not a romance. It's about siblings, adopted siblings, about two sisters known as the smallest, one known as the smallest giant, and one known as the whitest. The smallest giant, Hinako. She is an isekai protagonist, as, you know, that isekai part of the, isekai tensei part of the title. She's a Japanese girl, a Ozo-sama, as it were. She is very much into make it sound wrong. She is devoted to sisterhood, both in terms of like she's devoted to her siblings, but also she's a good Christian, devoted to God and all that. And so then she gets isekai due to her previous adopted sibling causes some unfortunate situations involving people acting like their stereotypes, let's say. Hinako decides that she's had enough and commits murder-suicide with her sister. Or against her sister, I suppose. Gets isekai'd, sees what appears to be God. Being a good Christian, she's like, no, you are not God. Begone, false idol! Just acknowledges that what appears cannot be God, and isekai's without any funny special treats. Stuff happens, and she becomes a sister to Alice, a giant. And yeah, that's where the series starts, I suppose. Well, a bit of time has passed, enough for Hinako to have been part of the giant community, known in the giant community, I guess, sort of. It's not really clear how community is, but some giants know of the sisters, and have given Hinako, being a normal sized human, the title of smallest giant, on account of being a normal sized human, but still acknowledged as kin of the giants. It's a dark fantasy, well, not super grim, but like there are very much moments of goodness me, that is grim. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's rough, a lot of stuff that's grim, and there's like, Factory has like grim imagery at times. Only has darker themes, like, you know, there are themes of not fitting in there, but here, there are themes of institutional slavery and rape. Ooh, fun! Isn't it fun when the people of the world are not given, like, it goes into how do the native inhabitants of a fantasy world feel when their god does not give them powers, but gives random outsiders a second chance at life and them powers. Like, wow, isn't that kind of suck when your god, who you pray to and devote your life to, just doesn't reward you and instead gives superpowers to random people who are literally from another world. That kind of sucks. Also, there's attempted rape in the first chapter. Just getting that out there. There's a lot of stuff that you might skip here. A lot of lemons, per se. So, as I said, might be darker. Another darker part is, which we're currently covering in the current arc, is the little brother of the group, who never actually like the giants have long thing like go see the father to if they want to adopt a sibling and all that. Hinako was very much into that sort of procedure, so like they meet a little boy, relatively, he's like, I don't know how old he is, but like relatively young for new Sakai protagonist, you know, the kid age, and he has returned by death, and this turns out as good as you'd expect for him, and we're dealing with the fallout of that. It's very grim. He very much experiences fate worse than death, as you'd expect from a return by death character. We're dealing with a fallout. Ouch, that sucks. And there's a lot of stuff like that, which are just, but at the same time, it's very much hopeful, like, very much of this grim stuff. There's a sense of, not necessarily hope, but determination, like, there's a constant theme of Hinako, despite being a normal human with no special treats, whose only thing going for her is she's professional and fancy and knows etiquette, is the older sister to Alice the giant, who is a giant and is smart and knows magic and is a skilled warrior and merchant and knows what's happening in this world on account of being a native inhabitant here. So like in terms of pure usefulness and skill and strength and knowledge, Alice is a lot more competent than Hinako, even though Hinako is the elder sibling, and like, this doesn't matter, because it's not the job of the elder sibling to be stronger or smarter. It's the job of the elder sibling of the elder sister to provide not just physical or in knowledge goals and what's the word, like a mentor and role model, but also a role model in terms of moral and character. Like, there's like several times Hinako is questioned, what do you bring to the table as an older sister? And Hinako has an answer of, even if I can guide my sister and I can protect her in rings, I can try and guide her. And there's like a great scene in the latest translated chapter, because there's no official English, so you have to find other means to read it. But in the latest translated chapter, there's a great contrast between her and another sibling dynamic about what a sibling gives to them, and an older sister gives to them. And at the end of the day, it's not, well, an older sibling does not, they don't provide strength or knowledge, they provide a role model, a mentor in a way of life. And how Alice has become kinder and more professional, and being able to talk to people more, and more friendly and more open since becoming her sister, and that's just very nice. Even if they aren't exactly even if the strength dynamic is all out of whack, they still both care about each other greatly. Aside from that, there are other characters, obviously. As I said before, there's they encounter a few other other rounders, I've said that there was a kid was returned by death, and that in chapter 2, I believe, they encounter a more traditional isekai protagonist, a classic, black-haired young male young adult-ish, he wields bladed weaponry, is a nerd, was a nerd, who read light novels and manga in the previous world, wields school swords made of darkness and stuff. He's, in spite of being, the more classic isekai protagonist, he's not like Sharou or anything. And he only appears once, but he's like, nice, and he helps Hinako come to terms with her past and her sins. And then, there's also a young lady who also happens to be Myao, Satan, the Demon Lord. And, she also has things to ask in terms of, less powerful, because as a demon lord he commands the great swords of the demon army, tens of hundreds of giant bioweapons of demons, that sort of stuff, but even so, like, in talking with Hanako and learning about her relationship with Alice, she can understand what it means to provide an example for people who look up to you, even if they are stronger or smarter or more competent or what have you. Like, also, Alice and Hinako are scary. I haven't really mentioned it because I've been more talking about character, but like, they are scary at times. Like, you know, a giant uses tons of powerful elemental and spiritual magic, and an otherworlder who, in spite of having zero powers and being like average Japanese human woman, you know, who throws herself into the fray and uses a bell that attracts monsters to attract aggro away from her allies. They are scary, and one thing that's both interesting and made me kind of chuckle is that when they are visiting their adopted family, adopted giant family, that is to say, like, Alice and Hinako are looking for their sisters. You may, families. You may remember that I mentioned earlier that Hinako killed her sister, and Alice, her relationship with the family, they abandoned her, so they're both kind of, that's kind of their relationship. But they've been adopted by another giant clan, and Alice has helped them put down roots and like develop, and they are like have an archaeological site and some cultural stuff. Anyway, the giants of their adopted family are low-key scared of. No, they are scared of Hinako because she's scary at times. Like, obviously being a human, they have in order to become part of the family, they need to take a sip of wine, I think. You know, the classic, I think it's common in Yakuza things, where they take a little bit of wine in a tiny little saucer, swallow it, you know. For the giants do that, but they only have giant-sized stuff, so there's more than her body weight in wine there. Like, their giant adopted father, he doesn't expect her to drink it all. He doesn't expect her to, like, you know, have a sip. That's symbolic enough. She drinks the whole thing, swells up, takes days, swells up several times, scoops it back up in after she throws it up. Everyone's scared of her after that, and also respects her. And I find that kind of interesting, that of the adopted siblings, the giants respect Hinako more because she has a scary amount of self-respect and nerve and like drive and determination, and when she wants to do something, she'll do it. And yeah, it's just scary. And whereas Alice is often worried about not being enough to protect her sister, or in spite of being a lot stronger, she's not as graceful and such. But yeah, I think it's also interesting that the giants, in spite, are so respectful of someone who is basically helpless, but they respect her guts a lot, and I think that's interesting. and also in the first chapter, Hinako blames the guy with an axe after he attempts to rape her. She was very much associated with shadows and being scary, in spite of being very much in a position of vulnerability. Anyway, with the other series I talked about, I found that character design was cute. They're all, and I will see the same here. All the costumes, all the outfits everyone's wearing are very memorable. Like, even Hinako, she's a Japanese schoolgirl who got isekai. She's wearing Japanese school clothes, but also she has some things that mark her out. Like, even though, like, she's got, like, you know, long black hair and all that jazz, she's missing an arm. On one hand, on her remaining hand, she has a bell. She carries herself very nobly, and so you can tell from her posture and her silhouette having one arm who she is, even from a distance. Same with Alice. She has like a scarf thing, and a unique hairstyle, and giants in the field have sharp elf-like ears, and stuff like that make their characters of their own stuff appealing. Also, once again, Morgan, more good. Alice is great. One time, Alice promises to. One cute thing that happens is Alice, when Alice and Hinako are talking about people not getting them, Alice is like, I'm a big bad giant, anyone who gets between us, I'll swallow them all, which, God, I wish a cute girl would swallow me whole. But also, it's just very aww. And then Hinako's like, I wonder, do giants actually eat humans? And Alice is like, no, not really. I mean, you're talking people who look like us. It's kind of weird to eat a human. I mean, the stories of, like, giants eating humans in extreme famine, but, you know, that's extreme famine. Of course, people resort to eating whatever they find in those sorts of conditions, but generally, no, besides humans are tiny and got no meat on you. And then Hinako was like, I wonder, would I be able to eat a human in front of, if another giant required me to? And Alice was like, that's, no, I said I'd eat a person if they came between us, but, like, that was a joke. I wouldn't actually eat a person, that's kind of scary. But yes. Cute dynamic. Interesting story. I wish it had a proper English translation. Can't wait to see where it goes. Yeah. And it's been an hour, I've been rambling on and on and on. I think I'm gonna call it here because my throat is getting a bit very much used, so that's enough for today. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me just ramble about my favourite manga. If you like the sound of any of them, I highly encourage you to pick up any of them. So that's Satsu's Monstrous Appetite, Kazugo, Caramelize, and Onisama, and The Giant. They are very good, highly recommend all of them, and I know that Satsu's and Kazugo have official English releases. Support them if you can. And with that being said, thank you for listening to me ramble. I've been Black Ice, Have a good one, Mitama.